I want to thank everybody for the tremendous support. I'm going to Walter Reed Hospital. I think I'm doing very well, but we're going to make sure that things work out. The First Lady is doing very well. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. I will never forget it. Thank you. I want to thank everybody for the tremendous support. I'm going to Walter Reed Hospital. I think I'm doing very well, but we're going to make sure that things work out. The First Lady is doing very well. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. I will never forget it. Thank you. I want to thank everybody for the tremendous support. I'm going to Walter Reed Hospital. I'm going to Walter Reed Hospital. Going to Walter Reed Hospital for the tremendous support. I'm going to Walter Reed Hospital. I think I'm doing very well. But we're going to make sure that things work out. The First Lady is doing very well. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I will never forget it. Thank you. I appreciate it. I will never forget it. Very much. I appreciate it. I will never forget it. Thank you. I want to thank everybody for the tremendous support. I'm going to Walter Reed Hospital. I think I'm doing very well, but we're going to make sure that things work out. The First Lady is doing very well. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. I will never forget it. Thank you. I will never forget it. Thank you. I want to thank everybody for the tremendous support. I'm going to Walter Reed Hospital. I think I'm doing very well, but we're going to make sure that things work out. The First Lady is doing very well. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. I will never forget it. Thank you. I want to thank everybody for the tremendous support. I'm going to Walter Reed Hospital. I think I'm doing very well, but we're going to make sure that things work out. The First Lady is doing very well. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. I will never forget it. Thank you.
Yeah, baby. Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday to you and yours, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to my show, Marcus Conte reporting. I'm a reporter. That's what I think I am. I'm an investigative reporter today. And we're going to investigate, as we've been doing now for about 3 years on a daily basis, every goddamn day for years. Right? It's consistency. Right? It's persistence and determination for what? What's the reason? Why do this? Why? Hare? I could sit in the park and chant Hare Krishna and be happy. But why? Why fly into the controversy? Why fly into human suffering? The human suffering of a man who works his way up the ladder to become the president of the United States, and then contracts COVID-19, and the world, half the world, 46% of the world wants to see him die. Why even bother? Why cover it? It's just a depiction of human suffering, and it just continues like the song. Right? That's the thing about the Krishna music, is that no matter what's going on in the world, the mantra continues. It's all in there. It's just the name of God. It's the word of God. Right? That's what Krishna is. It's just repeating. I discovered something in it. That's what I want. That's why I keep playing it over and over again. There's always this notion of mindfulness. If you know what this stuff is, and it's not satanic. It can't possibly. A couple of people were saying satanic stuff, but it can't be. Something can't be satanic if you're reciting the name of God to defend the Krishnas. Right? How is it satanic to say God over and over again, just in a different way? Right? The mantra throws off your thinking. That's the point of it. It makes you focus on the thinking. It makes you focus on the speaking and the sound and the vibration the vibration, right? The vibration of the sound instead of your own stinking thoughts. That's what it does. It distracts you. And it also implants very uplifting joy, a feeling of joy in your heart. But why do this? Why mix spirituality and politics, or music and politics, pop and politics? Why do it? Why? I ask myself that all the time. I don't know, because it feels good, right? It really does. It feels good. It feels like we come together, right? The 100 of us on a daily basis, and we move towards the truth, right? What is the fucking truth? What is the truth? What is the goddamn unadulterated truth of this existence, of this politic, of this election, of this life? Some heavy shit for a Saturday morning, right? So Marcus Conte reporting. Good morning, everybody in the chat. Vinny DiMartini is in the house on the wrench. Don't be a dick. You won't get chopped. You get chopped. So, Weevil Girl says it makes you stop thinking, like meditation. Yeah, the chant, that's exactly what it does. It's the same thing. You can focus on emptiness, breath, mindfulness of things around you, sound, and the mantra is. I think it's one aspect of it. I would say, start with mindfulness, right? Find that in yoga, the physical. They're all connected. They're all the same, and they're all avenues to one. But when you start cocktailing them, mixing them together, and using them for what they're best at, then I think you're approaching a very powerful form of something. So anyway, good morning, everybody. So Marcus Conte reporting. This is my website. Kindly become a Patreon of this channel. If ever we go down on YouTube, just come to the site and I'll give you an update. You'll know where we're broadcasting. It'll be right here under daily videos. If a video ever gets lost, you say, fuck, where's that video Conte made about the fucking LARPer guy? Just go to BitChute right here. You connect to this link right here. I have a couple of BitChute accounts, but this is the one with all the deleted videos. I just stick them over there as they get whacked. I throw them up there. So you can't make them go away, right? That's the point. You can't make them go away. The more you try the more you dig, the deeper you go, guys. The deeper you go. Become also Patreon of this channel by joining, and you can throw a tip in the tip jar. One other thing, man. I'm thinking about, this is true, man. This is some serious shit happening in my life, right? I think I may move out of New York City. It's looking like I'm going to move, right? And I'm fucking nervous, man, because I don't know anything else, right? And I'm not nervous. I'm not nervous at all. I just you get that sense of, like I was walking around in the village the other day, and I said, man, I'm going to miss this place. I'm going to miss this fucking place, right? This is where I grew up. This is what I know. This is who I am, and it just became, New York has become a kind of an ugly place, a place that I don't really recognize anymore, and quite frankly, I don't really like anymore. I don't like everybody's fearful and masks and stand here and don't stand there, and the loss of culture. Although culture will spring back again, it's going to be the young people that lead us out of this cultural void. But I don't have time for that shit, man. I don't have time to sit around and wait, man. I'm heading to the country. I'm heading to America. I'm going to discover America and land and trees and rolling mountains and being able to see stars at night. Something that a city person, you only get it on vacation when you travel outside of the city. Like, you can look up in New York City, lay on your roof, if you have one, and you don't see the stars. All you see is the white hot glow of humanity blocking out the fucking stars, right? So I'm heading out. I don't know when. My set is going to change. I'm going to have a different setup. And I'm excited about that part of it, right? So I might even go down for a few days. I don't know. if I can't make a smooth transition into live. Well, I won't miss a day. I'll just do the walk around. I'll do the walk around and the upload. Man. If I don't have a connection right away, I'll just have to go to Starbucks or some shit like that. But anyway, man, so that's an update on that shit, man. So thank you all for joining me in the chat. Marcus Conte reporting. Trump, if you're here, Trump is doing well. We're going to talk all about Trump today. We're going to talk about COVID-19 because what else is there, right? We're going to go into the human suffering of COVID and mask hysteria and vaccine pushers and who else is getting COVID-19 as the symptoms get milder. That's the one thing they don't tell you on in mainstream media. The research is showing already that the symptoms of the disease, the initial symptoms were rough, and now they're smoothing out. You get just a little blip. You get a little fevery, a little cough, a little cold, and then it's gone. Right? That's what COVID-19 is. So I ask myself every day: is it an attack? Was COVID-19 an attack? Or is it just mislabeled as the flu? Because why all of a sudden the core of Trump's cabinet, core members, Kellyanne Conway, his chief of staff, all testing positive now for this COVID-19. And but again, nobody's dying. Nobody is showing blisteringly bad symptoms. Nobody's on an intubator. An intubator. Nobody's being ventilated. Nobody's being given oxygen. They're giving them cocktails of very, if you get, it's funny too, if you get COVID-19, what's the instruction? They tell you, stay at home, and only if you feel like you're dying and you can't breathe, then go to the hospital. But Trump, on the other hand, and rich executives, they get on a plane and they go to Walter Reed Hospital and they get first class treatment the whole time they're sick. But you, on the other hand, go back to your pad, go back to your place and fucking die, right? Because we don't want you to. If you die, that's fine. We get you out of the way, and you won't be getting anybody else sick. Right? So that's the strategy there. Right? So anyway, so let's start with this story right here. What was I saying? Just quickly to bring, good reporting is to follow up on stories. And this is a good story to follow up on. Joe Rogan responds to Spotify employees over censorship rumors. So Joe Rogan, the story was that Joe Rogan was being censored by Spotify for speech, that he signs $100 million deal. Can't even say it. $100 million for Joe Rogan, the podcaster, given to him by Spotify, a contract for how many years? Who the hell knows? And there was then speculation or talk out of the Spotify camp that said, we want to have executive rights over what he says, to start to censor out his speech. And so Joe Rogan finally responded to that. He hadn't said anything to date. And here's what he said. Spotify has said nothing. Listen to me. Nothing. They haven't said anything to my manager. They haven't said anything to me. They've said nothing. All right. So that's kind of interesting, right? Because we were thinking that Joe Rogan had a gun to his head, and he was being told, don't say this and don't say that. But now he goes public and says, I don't know what you're talking about. He continued defending his position on trans community. I don't know what they were talking about. Quote, now, is there someone at Spotify that's complaining about Abigail Shrier episode? I'm sure there's someone that's complaining about it. Is it a transphobic episode? It's not. You're wrong. They're not. It's nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact that human beings are actually malleable. We all know that. That's why cults exist. Wow. He defends his program and then says that trans are cult. Now that's an opinion. See, that qualifies as an opinion. And any jack-off corporation that wants to shunt out people's opinion doesn't deserve to exist, deserves to go away in this country. Go to another country. There's plenty of countries where you can speak you can't speak openly, and you can censor and boycott and crush crush smaller entities. But in this country, we have a constitution called the United States Constitution, and you can't do that. Right? So it's good for Joe Rogan. It is interesting that he was not confronted by Spotify at all. Let's do a little survey. There's like 50, 60 people watching right now. I'm curious. You'll help me because I always want to know where people are from. You know, where are people chirping in from? And if you could do me that favor in the comments, reach over into the comments and tell me in a general way where you are. You don't have to tell me your fucking address, just the city and state. Give me your city and state, man. I'm very curious where people are. Because I look at analytics on the back end of YouTube. It doesn't mean anything. I don't know what it is, man. So just tell me where you are, man, because I would love to know. I would love to know where you are in this beautiful big world of ours. San Pedro, California. Me so hungry. Jessley Snipes is in Oregon. That's cool, man. Nice. Perth, Australia. No brainer. Welcome. Australia's here in the house. Olympia, Washington. DJ. Virginia. Southeast Michigan. Yes. Epic. Quantum Epic. Southeast Michigan. We're all over the place, man. Davis, California. Utah. Champs is from Utah. Andrew G. in Madison, Wisconsin. Weevil Girl is in Wisconsin as well. Eclair. Euclair. Wow. Vaccine. Randall Patrick Murphy says he's in Vaccineville, Massachusetts. I've heard of it. Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. William Smith. Seymour Sterling Price. Seymour, Missouri. Yes, in the heartland. Oakland, California. Oh, it's going too fast. I can't read it. Oakland, XD, Oakland, California. Northwoods, Wisconsin is Vandaloo. Southeast Scotland. Yes, Scotland. Welcome in the house. Andrew's from Scotland. Bill West. Bill West is from today Colts Neck, New Jersey. Oh, Bill West is from New Jersey. I didn't know that. Bill West is in New Jersey boy. Weevil Girl, Randall. Sweden. Milton is in Sweden. Who else? AJN, Las Vegas, Nevada. Wow, I love Las Vegas, man. Tulsa, Oklahoma, Pam. We're all over the place. Chicago. We got people in Chicago. It's no New York, man. Fucking, I'm by myself, man. What the hell am I doing here? Canada. D. Dulan is in Canada. Belvedere, Illinois. Sunflower. Yes. Dirty Jersey. Jim Stanford. I love New Jersey. New Jersey gets a bad rap, man. New Jersey has some of the most beautiful beaches in the fucking world, really. Like Sandy Hook and, well, not Sandy Hook so much, but Belmar and Atlantic City and Wildwood. Oh, it's beautiful. Seaside Heights. Beautiful, beautiful beaches. Hilton. H. Hilton's in Long Island. Malibu, California. Nice, man. Welcome, everybody. It's always nice to know where people are, because I don't fucking know. Sometimes I think I'm just talking to myself here, and I'm talking to you guys, right? Because that's all this is, right? I was just talking to myself. I just talk to myself, and you're actually witnessing my therapy. You're witnessing my self-inflicted therapy where I talk to survive in the world. I have to let it out, and you, when you hear it, you're also letting it out, right? Letting out the corruption and the insanity in the world. And then we come back to a place of balance and love. So what else we got here? So this is a good story. You talk about corruption in politics. You talk about, we've always said that the election laws are rigged. The election is rigged. If you fuck over the establishment, they will then come back and fuck you. So what is fuck a spiritual word, by the way? Is it spiritually enlightening to say that word? Yeah, it is. It's fornicate. It's But Rochester, listen to this. Remember the mayor in Rochester with that guy? They threw the fucking bag over his head, and the cops, they beat the shit out of him, right? They killed him. They put a bag over his head so he wouldn't spit at him. So they put a bag over his head and fucking, right? They killed him, right? Now, the mayor's reaction to that was to fire the police chief and like 7 other police officers. So listen to her fate, and you tell me if this was real. Is this real or is this fake? Right, that's the idea here. We're reading this one. Rochester, New York Mayor Warren indicted on charges including the fraud in the first degree and violations of election law. Democrat. Do the Democrats cheat? You bet your fucking ass they cheat. So is it? We'll take a look. We'll explore the particulars. The indictment comes as the mayor faces criticism over the police-involved death of Daniel Prude. It's the guy that threw the head and fucking shit over his head. Rochester, New York, Mayor Lovely Warren. That's her name? Lovely? You gotta be kidding me, man. That's her fucking name, Lovely? I don't believe it. Lovely Warren? That is her real fucking name. Unbelievable. Wow. Naming your kid Lovely. Wow. So Mayor Lovely Warren was indicted Friday on campaign finance charges stemming from her re-election campaign 3 years ago, officials said. So talk about digging up an old grave. Is it valid? All right. She's a big angry black woman who saw the Prude situation. Daniel Prude, is that his name? Daniel Prude, and she jumped on the bandwagon and started locking people up and firing people. They fired that police chief who's black, like a week before his retirement, which is fucked up. I think there's a report here.
One strange time in our lives.
We gotta listen to the ad. We gotta watch the ad first. Gotta watch the ad. I think it's a review. 19-second ad, man. Who watches a 19-second ad to see something, man? You can go fuck yourself, man. So, Rochester, New York, Lovely was indicted on Friday. I want you to watch. I want to see this because it has some good information. I think I watched it. Let's see. Let's see what you got here. Pelosi diagnosed tragic. Nah, we waited for nothing. So, Monroe County District Attorney Sandra Dorley announced that Warren is facing 2 felonies, including scheme to defraud in the first degree and violation of election law. Well, that would be a first. If a Democrat gets locked up for election fraud, violations of election law, that would be a good thing, right? Finally, some precedents to lean on. Also charged were Warren's campaign treasurer, Albert Jones Jr., also black, and the treasurer of her political action committee, Rosalind Brooks Harris, also black. I don't know that, but I bet you if you look it up, let's look it up. Let's take a crapshoot. Let's take a crapshoot and see who Albert Jones Jr. is. I bet your black face pops up. Let's see. Images. Pow, pow, black. Yeah, I just took a crapshoot. What do I know, man? Right? I just took a spot. I tried. Let's see about the other one. Let's see. Rosalind Brooks Harris. I'm just saying, right? Because black people say white people are racist, but then when given the opportunity, all they do is surround themselves with black. Black. There she is, right? So there is Miss Black. Harris, there she is. She's a blah, blah. Now, again, is that a racist thing to say? Is it racist to point out racism or favoring one's own kind? Not really. It's just what it is, right? It's well documented. It's totally fucking well documented that people like each other. Suzanne Potter Thomas says, lock up Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Wow, she was the biggest cheater, and I had her running mate, not a running mate, but the guy who ran against her in Florida twice was Tim Canova. Tim Canova's been on the show. I interviewed him. Tim Canova's kind of a low. He's a nice guy. He's a nice fucking guy. He's a professor, a law professor down in Florida, and he has been has said it openly. I had the conversation with him twice on the show about how he was cheated, straight out cheated, where he was polling at about 30-40%, his own polling, going around, asking people, thousands of people. And he was polling around 34%, 30 to 40%. And then when election day came around, they gave him a smooth 5% in the final analysis. In the final election, he only got 5% of the vote when he was polling at 30 and 40%. That is statistically impossible. That is a statistical impossibility. So he was cheated. So yeah, Debbie Wasserman Schultz should be handcuffed, and so should the cunt that led the charge. What's her name? Snipes, Miss Snipes down in Florida, all in Florida, Dade County. So yeah, cheating goes on. But did this woman cheat? That's what I want to know, because it sounds like a little bit of a hit job, because she hit the police, and then suddenly there's an indictment on the table up in Rochester, New York. Now, I'm not defending her. I think she's if she cheated, she should face the music. Do Democrats cheat? Yeah, they fucking cheat. Right? But are you pinning this on her? That's what I want to know. Monroe County District Attorney Sandra Dorley announced that Warren is facing 2 felonies, including a scheme to defraud in the first degree, blah, blah, blah. Warren has not been arrested, but will be processed, Dorley said. A little preferential treatment. If you were facing 2 felonies, you'd be handcuffed and sitting in a cell waiting for, an attorney to spring you loose. But when you're the mayor, you just hang out, you wait. Right? If convicted, she would be removed from office. Right? So that's a consequence. Right? They could lie, they could cheat, and no consequence. They could steal all the money they want, and when they either get kicked out of office or they don't run again, right? Or they get right. So that's their consequence. This could be a long process, and we anticipate that there would be challenges along the way. Yeah. Warren has called the investigation a political witch hunt. Her lawyer did not return messages from Fox News seeking comment. There's a video. Oh, here's the video. Let's watch.
New York's mayor has requested a federal investigation into the death of Daniel Prude, who died after a police encounter earlier this year. Mayor Lovely Warren also fired Police Chief LaRon Singletary over his handling of Prude's death just 2 weeks ahead of the chief's planned retirement.
Wow. So the guy's got a planned retirement 2 weeks ahead, and she fires him. You motherfucker. You destroyed that guy's pension and everything else, man. You killed that guy. You motherfucker.
David Lee Miller live for us in New York City with the latest.
Because you didn't like how the event went? You fire the guy? Did he do it personally? Is it
David Lee.
Trace, in addition to that shakeup at City Hall, Rochester's mayor yesterday apologized to Daniel Prude's family as well as the entire community for failures that led to his death while in police custody. The city's police chief, who had earlier announced his retirement at the end of the month, was fired by the mayor. The mayor also gave 30-day suspensions without pay to her communications director and the city attorney for their role in the aftermath of Prude's death. Video of Prude's arrest led to street demonstrations. On March 23rd, Prude, in an erratic state and naked, was subdued by police who put a mesh hood over his head to prevent him from spitting. A week later, Prude died from what the autopsy report called complications from asphyxia and ruled it a homicide. The drug PCB was in his system. Months later, at the insistence of Prude's relatives, the video and the details of his death were made public. 7 Rochester police officers were suspended. Multiple investigations got underway, including one by New York's Attorney General. Rochester's mayor is now calling on the Justice Department to get involved.
It was a fascinating story, right? I didn't even realize it, that they threw a hood on the guy. The guy was outside naked. I didn't even know about this.
In response to a preliminary report by her own administration, she said Rochester has a big problem.
This initial look has shown that we have a pervasive problem in the Rochester Police Department, one that views everything through the eyes of the badge and not the citizens we serve.
Rochester's own Office of Public Integrity is also going to investigate if any city employees violated rules or ethical standards in connection with Mr. Prude's death. Among those who are going to be under scrutiny will be the mayor herself.
Yep. So again, it is leaning. I would say it's leaning towards a hit piece. Now, is she deserving of getting charged with 2 felonies? Probably. Did she? What's the story? Something about There was $30,000. At one point, Warren, for a stronger Rochester PAC, transferred $30,000 from the group to Warren's committee. Friends of Lovely Warren, according to 2017 expenditure reports, right? And then she goes on to say Warren claims the funds were mistakenly placed in the PAC account. So they're moving money around. Right? They're running for office. They're moving money around, and now they're gonna try to hold her to voter what is it, violations of election law. Look at Hillary Clinton, how they commingled funds. They stole the DCCC's money and said that it was going to be for down ballot participants, and it all went into Hillary Clinton's pocket. Right? They fucking looted the DNC and the DCCC throughout 2016, and they were filtering money through the Clinton Foundation. No charges, but a poor black mayor in Rochester, New York, is getting a little fucked there. So it's just an interesting story. I thought it was fascinating. It sounded like you want to see her go down, but then again, it's kind of like a hit job. Who's putting out the hit? Look to the police and the prosecution and all that to take her down a notch, right? So she stops prosecuting them, right, and firing them. So let's pivot into Trump. Trump is doing well, right? Donald J. Trump, the president of the United States, has COVID-19. Wow, what a big deal, right? Holy shit, right? Because he's saying it was just a farce and it wasn't a big deal. We're over the curve. The curve is flat. No worries. It's not really that bad. It's mask. Who gives a shit, right? That was Trump saying it all along. Now he actually has, or allegedly has, COVID-19. So that's a big game changer in terms of story and narrative, right? Democrats love that shit. Nancy Pelosi's out in front of the camera saying, and maybe it's good that this happened so that his circle of people take this more seriously. That's Nancy Pelosi's bullshit, right? And others have said Joe Biden was very cordial. Joe Biden, I think he has to be. Joe Biden was like now he's Mr. President. All of a sudden, sending his love and his condolences to the president, Biden said. So what else can we learn about? President Trump and First Lady Melania have tested positive for COVID-19. No shit. What else? Trump becomes the latest world leader to be diagnosed with the virus just weeks ahead of the election. And I think the biggest one prior to this was Boris Yeltsin. Boris, is that his name? Boris Johnson, excuse me. The guy in England, the MP of England. Boris Johnson, is that his name? But anyway, number of cases grows among people at White House ceremony. So we'll look at all these. I got the whole list of people that are now being infected with COVID-19 within Trump's inner circle. Now, does that indicate one sloppy guy walking in there coughing and has it? Or is it some sort of, I don't know, I've always been suspicious of this thing, that it could have been a kind of a hit, a bioweapon of some sort. And now it's circulating around. That's just working theory. There's no proof of that. But it is interesting that Trump's inner circle is now popping up with these positive tests. Now, the only real thing to look at is how sick do they get, and does anybody die? Because if people just get the fucking running nose and the sniffles or a little cough, right? Because the symptoms are growing milder as we move away from this thing, and they'll mutate. That's what happens. That's what fucking happens with viruses. That's what happens. And it doesn't get more severe and more deadly. It gets less severe and less deadly as you move away from the initial. The body starts to rejuvenate and builds a way to fight it. There's some. I'm stopping and listening. I don't know if you can hear it, but there's Arabs. There's a Muslim chanting going on in a couple of apartments away, and you hear it between the two buildings. It's loud. You can't. I don't know if you can. You can't really hear it. And they get loud. They're boisterous, man. You think like so. A lot of religions have that shit. A lot of them have that chanting Ale 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 Baba 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 Ale Hare Baba Ale Baba. What's the other one? Ali Akbar. Ale Ale Akbar. Ale Akbar. Ale Akbar. Ale Akbar. Ale. Oh man, fucking Ali Akbar. So, a number of COVID cases growing among people at the White House ceremony. All around the ceremony. Remember the big ceremony with Amy Coney Barrett? The number of people from President Trump's inner circle who have tested positive for the coronavirus is growing, with at least 7 confirmed cases tied to an event at the Rose Garden last week. Remember, we saw them. They were all trying to confirm Amy Coney Barrett. On Saturday, officials announced Amy Coney Barrett as his nominee to replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg as the next U.S. Supreme Court Justice at an outdoor ceremony with more than 150 people. So some of the people so far that have contracted this. In addition to the president and first lady, at least 5 others who were at the ceremony have been confirmed to have COVID-19. Former top aide Kellyanne Conway, Senator Tom Tillis from North Carolina, Mike Lee from Utah, and Notre Dame President John Jenkins, a White House journalist. There's others too. I'll put the full list out. But I wanted to see the comments from Trump's team, right? Just as he always has, President Trump trusts that we will work as hard as we can to share his record of success to the American people. Stefan wrote in the email, "I will still be doing that, and I know you will too during the home stretch." He signed off, this is Trump speaking, he signed off with 21 days to victory. So we're trying to get into the mental state. That little clip I played earlier, this is Trump getting on the plane.
I want to thank everybody for the tremendous support. I'm going to Walter Reed Hospital. I think I'm doing very well, but we're going to make sure that things work out. The First Lady is doing very well. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. I will never forget it. Thank you.
So that's Trump before. That's when he realizes, oh, I got COVID-19. I'm going to go to Walter Reed Hospital. He's staying in a luxury fucking suite in Walter Reed. And he's not struggling like, he's staying in a fucking presidential suite. They got a suite presidentially set up for him at Walter Reed. So he's doing fine, right? And that's the only time we heard him, which was yesterday. So I bet, advice to Trump, you better get out in front of the cameras every day and say, I'm doing okay. Even if he's not doing okay, just get out in front of the cameras, because you know what comes next. They'll say he's dead. If no one hears from Trump for 2 or 3 days, if they don't see his face and his lips moving, they'll say, oh, he's dead. Like, they'll start that rumor, like North Korea. Like fucking Kim Jong-un, he's dead. Where is he? He's dead. So keep speaking, keep talking, Trump. What else? So President Trump, who has COVID-19, was taken to Walter Reed National Medical Center on Friday, is doing, quote, very well, and does not require any supplemental oxygen, his physician said Friday. That's excellent news. No, he's not having any breathing problems, nothing. He's just got some mild symptoms. This evening, I am happy to report that the president is doing very well, White House physician Dr. Sean Conley said in a statement. We're just trying to rule out scam. Is Trump pulling our leg on this one? Does he really have COVID-19? Is he just using it as a scapegoat? Well, if he is, then there's a lot of people in on the scam. So we're just ruling it out. This is his doctor saying. He is not requiring any supplemental oxygen, but in consultation with specialists, we have elected to initiate remdesivir therapy. Remdesivir, I think, is a steroid. Let's see what that is. What is remdesivir? Remdesivir. for treatment of COVID-19 is a remdesivir by Gildan Science. What is it? What is remdesivir? Remdesivir, treatment of adults, pediatric patients hospitalized with suspected of or confirmed COVID-19. It's an intravenous thing, IV infused. What exactly is it, though? The secretary, what is it? Is it steroid or something? What the fuck? What the fuck, man? Dude, man, what are you pumping into my vein, man? But anyway, so he's getting that remdesivir therapy. Remdesivir is an experimental I should say all I had to do is read the next sentence. Remdesivir is an experimental antiviral therapy. Trump has completed his first dose and was resting comfortably, Connolly said in the statement, which was tweeted by the White House. Now, again, I said it earlier. If you or I were sick, middle class or lower middle class or, poor people that don't want to run to a doctor, what's the instruction? Stay home and fucking rot. Unless you're choking. That's why you got to take care of yourself in this day and age, right? It is so important to take care of yourself because you can't run to the doctor. You can't go to fucking Walt Whitman Hospital, wherever he is. What's the name of the hospital? You can't go over there, right? You can't go to no military hospital and hang out in the president's suite. You got to fucking stay home and choke. They want you to stay home and choke, and so you don't choke on anybody else. But the president or rich people, oh, no. They go to the president's suite. Right? Any wealthy person now is going to do this, right? The least little symptom, ooh, I got a runny nose. You go to the hospital and you get some remdesivir and other stuff too, right? I don't like the idea of running to drugs. I like the idea of staying fit. I was running. I got to tell you, man. I got to tell you how in shape you can become. I got to cut to myself here. How in shape you can become. So I started this kind of weight loss program like 6 months ago. Not really concentrating on any. I was just weeding out. I was just eliminating shit food, and I started to do yoga intensely, and my arms were weak. I noticed that my legs are a lot stronger than my arms. Now my arms are getting very, very strong from the yoga. Right, I could hold arm positions for a long time now. Couldn't do that when I started. So my everything is getting strong. I want to share this with you because not to toot my own horn, so that you may follow my example, so that you can be healthy too. So I was running, and I'll leave it here. That I was running. I was doing my running. I've been running since I'm like 17 years old. Without fail for years. Maybe with the exception of breaking a leg or. I always ran. And not necessarily fast or just because I'm being chased, but I always ran for fitness. And yesterday or 2 days ago, I was running, and it occurred to me that I have the body of a 23-year-old. It reminded me, because of my weight, that I'm dropping down to that level, and I felt like I was 23 years old when I was running. It was like effortless, like youth. Now, is that possible in your 50s? What was I experiencing? Was it the shit that guy was smoking next to me? Or why did I suddenly feel? Why did I suddenly feel like I was experiencing a youthful moment? I was because it's true. You return. Your body is, age is a state of mind. You can't reverse the aging process, but you can certainly slow down and reverse your physical breakdown is what I'm trying to say. So I experienced that, and I think you can too. I think everybody can really, could really benefit from a good exercise program. So that's why you come here, right? So I give you, exercise programs and meditation stuff, and you can use some of these cool oils, and you get to see how Trump is doing, right? You get to see that's what this is, right? It's a hybrid program of mental diarrhea and music and ranting about politics. That's what we're doing. So So anyway, Trump is jacked up on some remdesivir. Early Friday, the White House said that Trump received an experimental drug, a single 8-gram dose of Regeneron's polyclonal antibiotic cocktail. So they're infusing Trump. Trump is like, they're pumping his, he's like a crash test dummy, man. Going well, I think. Thank you to all. Love, Trump tweets out. So that's all we really know about it. So he's chilling like Bob Dylan in Walter Reed Hospital in Bethesda, Maryland. And he's doing well. His doctor's saying that they're giving him a cocktail of antivirals, no supplemental oxygen, certainly no intubator, no fucking rubber hose up your nose shit going on for the president. And all good news, right? All good news. But that doesn't stop people like People magazine from saying President Trump's pre-existing condition puts him at higher risk of severe COVID-19. Thanks for pointing that out. Thank you guys. So President Trump, let's see what his condition. What is Trump's condition that leads one to believe that his symptoms will be severe, when we now know that the symptoms are being mild? I got an article that I'll show you. Research that says that the symptoms of COVID-19 are lessening. They're getting weaker in the human body. Vinny DiMartini says, "Up your nose with a rubber hose." That was Vinny Barbarino. Vinny Barbarino in Welcome Back, Kotter. Welcome Back, Kotter, was filmed maybe 3 miles away from where I live right now. I should go before I leave. I'll do one episode on the steps of New Utrecht High School. I know exactly where it was. Welcome back. That opening caption when they swing across the schoolyard, right on I know the fucking corner. It's 18th Avenue and right under the L train, right? I know that little deli. It's a little candy store. I don't know if the little candy store's still there, but it's that's where Welcome Back, Kotter was eventually was allegedly filmed. It wasn't filmed in the fucking school, but that was the story of New Utrecht High School in Brooklyn. Right? Up your nose with a rubber hose. Hey, Mr. Kotter. President Trump announced Friday morning he had COVID. What are we looking for here? I forgot what we're looking for. Oh, they're trying to say that Trump has. Oh yeah, here's why Trump is at high risk. Let's find out. Trump's age, 74. Is on the higher end of the Centers for the Disease Control's high-risk category. Time out. This is a big story. Why are we talking about this? Because Trump now has, after this is over, in 5 to 7 days or a week from now, Trump will have inside insight into the COVID-19 spell, into what it really feels like to have COVID-19. And if Trump gets off light, if Trump has light to no symptoms, just a little, I feel like I got the flu, he's going to be with a fucking bullhorn. He's going to be on the podium saying, "Look at me, we won again. We win. We just keep winning." And he's going to reduce the scare and the need for these masks. It's like, what is the big fucking deal? You get sick, you develop antibodies, and you're immune. Right? But if it goes the other way, man, if Trump croaks, if Trump gets, is on a fucking incubator, because the Democrats would love to see that. 25th Amendment, where's Nancy Pelosi? Get her ready, because Pence has it too. Pence can't be the president. Put in Nancy Pelosi. That's what they're going to say. But Trump is going to have a inside window. People in the 65 to 74 age group are at a 5 times higher risk of hospitalization and a 90 times greater risk of death compared to young adults 18 to 29. Most of the people that died in that 1 percentile, less than 1 percentile, were aged, were people in their 80s. They were already in nursing homes. And if you're in a nursing home and you're in your 80s, you have complications. You're not just old. You're in the nursing home because you have complications. You have whatever, fucking colon falling out, your heart's stopping, you can't breathe, your lungs are exploding, whatever symptoms or whatever diagnoses you have in a nursing home, you are fucked. You are in bad condition. That's why you're in a nursing home, to nurse you. You're being nursed. So that's why it hit so heavily. But is Trump in a nursing home? No. Trump's a vigorous guy. None of this shit really applies to him, right? Because he's not ill. He's not ill. He's just got I understand he's clearly overweight. If he's 230, he can be a slim 205. Trump's 6'3". 6'3". Trump's tall. Trump's a tall guy, 6'3". I've seen him in person. I've stood next to him. Well, at an event, he was there, and I walked right by him. He's a big guy. He's tall, and he's but 230 is a little fat, right? Get down to like a lean, maybe like 205. Drop 25 pounds. Drop the gut, and your blood pressure. Allegedly, he has slightly high blood pressure and slightly high cholesterol. So he's probably on a little bit of meds for both of those. But that doesn't really those are symptoms of bad living, right? You could, I don't care how old you are, you shouldn't have high blood pressure, and your cholesterol levels shouldn't be high. I'm not so sure about the cholesterol. I don't think that's an accurate measure anymore, but blood pressure is a good thing to know. I'm gifted. I have very low blood pressure. I have low blood pressure to the point of sometimes passing out if not aware of it, if I forget to eat or something. But anyway, the men in particular are up to twice as likely to die from COVID-19. So this is fear porn, right? Fear. Thank you, People Magazine, for the fear porn. Men generally are more susceptible to the disease than women, likely due to a difference in their immune systems. That's such bullshit. Right? So those are Trump's possible reasons for dying early, because People Magazine said so. Trump COVID-19 advisor Dr. Scott Atlas projects rapid recovery for the president. Oh shit! No, Democrats, you got to come up with another one.
Men. You don't like it, do you?
What is this?
It's built by white men. You don't like it, do you? You feminist, weak, hairy-faced, mangina, I'm a feminist. You weak, shut your balls off and let women run the world.
Carry on, man. Keep going.
I don't know what the hell this is, but it's funny.
Come on, go again.
You men.
Dance, monkey, dance!
You're Christmas away and you're letting women run the world. Shame upon you all. Shame upon all you hairy faces.
You guys venting on some women, man. It's dissing on the women, right? So President Trump's coronavirus pandemic advisor, Dr. Scott, on Friday said Trump likely will have a rapid recovery. Quote, "It is no surprise that people get the infection, even with precautions," said Atlas told Fox. Quote, "I anticipate a complete and full and rapid recovery back to normal after his necessary confinement period. I anticipate he will be back on the road and in full swing." You know what Trump just came to me? You know what Trump should do? He should get, you remember the Pope Mobile, the bubble? They had the first Pope that came to the U.S. He drove around in the Pope Mobile. It was like a bulletproof fucking, cube, not a cube, but a bubble, a literal glass bubble. And he was the Pope Mobile. They coined it the Pope Mobile. So Trump should get one of those, right? Get a bubble. Get a fucking glass bulletproof bubble. And do your rally in a bubble, man. How funny would that be, man? Say, oh, man, the fucking air in here is beautiful. Hey, get a real good one. Get a good one. Get like the COVID, the presidential bubble. I have a presidential bubble where Trump could drive around and do rallies inside the bubble. All right? Fresh air. That would be great. Fucking, you feel better, right? Michael Jackson used to do that, right? He used to get the oxygen. He used to stay in a bubble. He said he couldn't. He loved it. He would get in the bubble, the oxygen bubble, every day. So let Trump do that too, man. It would shut people up, right? I feel great, man. But I'm still quarantined inside my presidential bubble. It's no surprise. Atlas, a neurologist, called Trump a, quote, super vigorous man. Oh, the Democrats, they're so sad about this. And said he's never seen anyone more energetic and more vigor at any age, but particularly at his age. Quote, he is a very, very healthy guy, Atlas said. And the overwhelming majority of people, even at his age, do fine with this. He is very healthy. And so I anticipate the same for him. That's Trump's doctor speaking. All right. We got to talk about this, right? Because, man, Trump is going to have a story and a half, right? He's got documented COVID-19 disease. And he's going to tell us all about what it feels like. Guaranteed. Right? Atlas joined the White House in August and recently repudiated an assessment of U.S. Antibody prevalence offered to lawmakers by Center for Disease Control, the CDC, and preventive director. Right? So they repudiated the CDC. So this doctor says the CDC is full of shit. That's what he said. He's on the record saying that. Trump, 74, issued a tweet early Friday announcing that he and First Lady were positive, which has affected serious respiratory bug, which has affected 7.2 million Americans, killed 207,000. All right, so that's all we know about that. Let's see who else has it. COVID-19 infection have gotten milder. Oh, this is the one I wanted to say, right? Me So Hungry says a beautiful bubble, right? Trump would have the most beautiful bubble, right? Make it like gold fucking plated bubble, right? Gold trim, right? That would be awesome, right? So again, I said earlier, COVID-19 infections have gotten milder over time, right? Death rate, less than 1%. Millions of cases, very small amount of death. Nothing to worry about, really. Old people, yes, protect the old people that have pre-existing conditions that are susceptible to this thing, right? And if you're not old and you have conditions, get healthy. This is a wake-up call. This is a wake-up call. Because now viruses can kill you potentially if you're out of fucking shape. Right? If you open up your heart to illness when you're not taking care of yourself. You got to eat right. You got to run. You got to meditate. You got to take care of yourself. You got to center yourself. And then you become a very powerful motherfucker. Right? In so many different ways. So coronavirus infection appear to have gotten milder over time, with decreased viral loads, less severe symptoms, and fewer hospitalizations, according to a new study. Also remember that a lot of the people that died initially were being wrongly intubated. They were getting tubes up their nose, and that was not the proper treatment. You also had psychopaths like Andrew Cuomo putting sick people into the nursing homes to nurse them back to health. They're not set up for infectious control. They're not set up for that. You don't put people coughing and sneezing a potentially deadly virus into the air around old people. That was a fucking, what a blunder. What a blunder that Cuomo never fessed up for. That's why we had such high death rates in nursing homes here. Remember when we did the research? So researchers from Wayne State University examined 700 nose and throat samples from patients hospitalized at Detroit Medical Center between April and June and found that the average amount of viral load decreased significantly. All right, so we're on the downside of the curve. During the first week of the study, nearly half the samples were found to have high viral loads, while only 1/4 had low viral loads. Participants who had high viral loads were more likely to develop more severe symptoms, with 14% of those patients dying. These are all hospitalized people. But by the study's fifth week, the majority of samples, 70%, were shown to have a lower viral load. So what does it say? It means that, there's more. As the pandemic progressed, there were fewer deaths, fewer hospitalizations, and the patients had lower amounts of virus at the time of admission. This gives us hope that we can live with this virus, with masks and social distancing as we get a vaccine. So again, they keep plugging that shit, masks, social distancing, and vaccine, rather than going towards the natural thing that we're seeing, which is the virus is starting to lose steam. And the healthy people that stayed active and weren't shunting themselves with alcohol, washing their hands every 30 seconds and breathing in fresh air are getting stronger and more immune to the thing. They're not telling me that. For a disease that has a less than 1% death rate, has a fractional margin, way less than anything else, way less than any other of the killer diseases that we live with. Are we allowed to say this on social media? Is this permitted? Are we permitted to speak truth? To actually look at the stats? Is this a forbidden? Is this video forbidden? Will this video be scratched from the record because we spoke truth in it? Where we're analyzing the actual facts of the matter? Because that's where we live. We do live in a censored world right now. Quote, all those social measures we're taking and teaching may have something to do with the people coming in with lower and lower amounts of viruses. No, you fucking idiot. Right? It's not the social measures. That's what's making it linger. Masks and social distance make it linger. Let it go through. If it's just an organic thing with virus, let it go through the populace and pass like they did in Sweden and elsewhere. When we saw people dropping, quarantine and isolate for the first week of the thing. Yeah, but now we have inside knowledge that a lot of the complications that we were seeing in hospitals were actually hospital invoked. Sticking tubes up people's noses where they can't breathe. They can't breathe, and now you're fucking pumping oxygen into the lowest levels of their lungs, for weeks, holding them there, destroying their lung tissue, their alveoli. So there's no proof. As they get exposed to people while they're wearing masks, they are probably getting exposed to a smaller amount of the virus. No, it's not. That's not the case. A smaller amount of the virus. That's like being a little pregnant. You either are or you're not exposed. If you're exposed to a virus, you're going to catch it. Right? If you incubate yourself, if you touch yourself, pick your nose or pick your teeth, right? You're going to get it if it's on your hands. So evidence-based channel, evidence. We have evidence. We have evidence that the virus is losing its bite. It's losing its bite. So these are a long laundry list. Thank you, NBC, for putting together the laundry list of all of the tracking COVID-19 infections among President Trump's contacts. A little contact tracing for Trump, right? Try to scare the living fucking shit out of anybody who came near Trump. Thank you, MSNBC, CNBC, whatever, all the same shit. So look at the list. Look, Scott Ellis, Alex Azar, William Barr, Joe Biden, Jill Biden, Chris Christie, Amy Coney Barrett, right? All negatives. Kellyanne Conway, well, she's a whore anyway, right? Doesn't she she sleeps with everybody, right? Isn't that her job? Trump says, Kelly, can you go fucking fuck this guy, right? Go fuck this guy and let's get the deal done, right? Go to China. You like Chinese guys, right? You fucking fuck anybody, right? Go over to China and fuck that guy, and we'll have a deal. That's what Kellyanne Conway's the. I wouldn't. I think she's out of my league. She's not my type, but I'm sure there's people that would, right? Kellyanne Conway. So that's why she's positive. Judd Deere. I don't know who he is. Oh, spokesman. He's the White House spokesperson. Betsy DeVos. Unknown. So then they haven't been tested. Mark Esper, negative. Who's positive? Let's look at the positives. Hope Hicks, we know that, the White House aide. She's suspect number one. They're jumping all over her, say that she started it. And again, you can't rule out purposeful infection. Did somebody zap one of these people and try to get it into the inner circle? It's very possible. they seem to be very, very cautious. They were testing people every day and keeping people away from the president. And suddenly he gets it. So anyway, how did they get in there? Right? They find the weakness. Right? But these are the people that have it. Hope Hicks, John Jenkins, Mike Lee, the senator from Utah, and Ronna McDaniel, RNC chairwoman, tests positive. So how many positives do we have? Another positive. Bill Stefan, his campaign manager, has it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 known positives around the Trump circle. Now, I hope Trump has a little space in the executive wing of the hospital, right? Give fucking Kellyanne Conway. She's been good. Give us some remdesivir. Not a word of hydroxychloroquine. We haven't heard any of that from Trump. He seems to have abandoned that, and he's going with his doctor's opinion. So hydroxychloroquine and his aspirin are off the table. We haven't heard any of that. So that's who else has it. Again, here she is. She's the White House tramp. I don't know what her job is, really. What is her job? She's just the talking head, right? Kellyanne Conway reveals she has tested positive. Now, if anybody would be faking it, it would be Kellyanne Conway. Because then she could say, I didn't have a goddamn symptom, man. This is a sham and a ripoff. Right? So now look past Trump. Maybe Trump does have something. And maybe Kellyanne Conway, maybe she's the one who gave it to him because she's a whore. I don't know why I'm bashing her. I just don't like her for some reason. I think she's a phony. I think she's just like she's a media whore. A media whore, not a real whore. You know what I mean? Former White House counselor. Now, I love Steve Bannon. I wish that Steve Bannon would come back into the fold. But they witch hunted him here in New York, and he's got some legal problems. But he's a genius. That guy, I love that guy. I love his initial team of Kellyanne Conway and Steve Bannon. They were really good. Steve Bannon opened the conversation up to this white supremacist nonsense, and the fact that America is not a racist country, and that a lot of the racism is actually coming out of the far left. And Steve Bannon was brilliant in showing people that. My symptoms are mild, she said, light cough, and I'm feeling fine. I have begun a quarantine process in consultation with physicians, says Kellyanne Conway. So she's got the bug, too. We'll follow that. And this guy, too, Trump's campaign manager. So you get to see a picture. He's a young man. Young man, Bill Stefan. President Trump's campaign manager, Bill Stefan, has reportedly contracted the coronavirus. Yes, he has. The 42-year-old is experiencing mild flu-like symptoms and tested positive Friday evening. Politico reports. Is this a sham? Are we being shammed by Kellyanne Conway and Bill Stefan? Because I don't believe shit anymore, man. I'm so calloused, man. I'm just one of the most calloused people. I'm sure you are, too. I can't believe any of this shit. I don't know. It's just words on a screen now. They could write anything and we have to believe it, right? Because we can't see it anymore. You got to watch Trump, man. I want to personally see Trump in front of the cameras on a daily basis because I want to know. I want to know if that mofo is experiencing any symptoms. I had it in the most extreme sense all the way back in February, man. My shit was falling apart. That shit lasted. It was intense for a week, and then it lingered for another 3 weeks with that cough, man. This shit was brutal. So let's see if Trump experiences any of those things. You see this pedal right here? This is my Mellotron. I love this pedal. It sounds like a harmonium. I'm going to start playing that. I just when I get to my final when I do the new setup, I'm going to have that shit set up, man. You're going to love this shit. I'm going to have my looper set up. I'm going to have my harmonium set up. It's going to be good, man. It's going to be good. We'll open it up to more people. I like to have guests, virtual guests, have people on. So anyway, I digressed. These pedals are all organ pedals that your guitar can sound like organs. It's good to know if you're a guitar player. So I think we're wrapping it up because I'm starting to run out of gas. So it's going to be a long show. We got a couple more stories to talk about. So Kellyanne Conway has it. What else? So look at this jack off, right? They couldn't get quick. It couldn't be quick enough, right? So who is this clown? 25th Amendment. If Trump falls, we're going to get somebody else in there. So listen.
Amendment to make it absolutely clear what the line of succession ought to be in the eventuality that a president is unable to discharge his duties. Next in line would be the vice president.
He's a homo, by the way.
Mike Pence. Should he in turn also be unable to exercise?
He's actually bisexual. He likes men and boys.
The powers of the office. Then it would go to the majority leader. That would be Nancy Pelosi. Next in line still is President pro tem in the Senate, Chuck Grassley. From there, it goes to Secretary of the State, Mike Pompeo, and then Steve Mnuchin. There are instances, though, where a president may be incapacitated, in which case there will be questions about whether or not he can actually discharge his duties.
Mm-hmm. So they're already that's a little more fear porn. Try to get you in. Who's going to take over? Who's going to take over? Wow, I don't even know where the fuck I am anymore. So you heard it. You heard the order. The order. Mike Pence, and then Nancy Pelosi, and then the senior member of the Senate, who is Chuck Grassley right now. Then we go to Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, and the fifth or sixth in line would be Steve Mnuchin. So if all those, if Pence and Trump go down and Pelosi, if they blow up the Congress, it could be, you get Steve Mnuchin for the president if all these fuckers start dying, croaking and shit. So just good to know, right? Something to know, right? All right. So let's talk about face masks. This is sham right here. I don't believe this study. And that's why I want to talk about it. Fox News reporting face masks do not restrict oxygen or contribute to carbon dioxide buildup, study shows. Now, I want to show you how flawed this research is. Right now, when you read the headline, you would say, "Oh yeah, face masks. They don't restrict oxygen or carbon dioxide." I saw that in Fox. I read the headline, but you don't bother to read the rest of the story, and that's what we're gonna look a little bit deeper. The study was conducted after some Florida residents challenged state mask wearing mandate in June. All right, so follow this shit. You're not going to believe this. Breathe easy. A new study suggests that surgical face masks don't cause a buildup of carbon dioxide or restricted oxygen, despite opposing claims. Let's continue. The study on the effect of masks on gas exchange in healthy persons and persons with COPD, cardiac obstructive pulmonary disease. Cardio obstructive pulmonary disease is COPD, I recall. And the exchange of gases can be measured in blood. You can measure oxygen and carbon dioxide levels in your blood. So these things are quantifiable. You can measure them in healthy people and people that have respiratory problems. Right, their pulmonary system is fucking failing. Right? So it was published by the Annals of American Theatric Society. On Friday, it was conducted after a group of blah, 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 blah. So let's read. Research is led by Dr. Blah, 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 a pulmonologist with, in Miami. I want to just get to the stats. All right. So small study, this is why it's flawed. Pay attention to this. The small study included 15 military veterans with severe COPD. So 15 very, very sick veterans, probably old too. Why don't you give their age? Each with lung function under 50%. Wow, under 50% lung function. That's emphysema. That's people with fucking bad lungs. You got yourself, if you're functioning at 50%, you got some bad fucking lungs, man. You got black lung. That's racist, man. You got some black in your lung. That's black people saying that shit. Why you gotta say it's black? It's not black. It's brown. All right. So really bad lungs, 15 people with really bad lungs, and 15 healthy participants. I want to know what you're calling healthy. What, fucking guys sitting around smoking cigarettes, writing research reports? I'll determine if you're healthy or not. But a total of 30 people, that's it. All participants wore masks for 30 minutes and were told to walk for 6 minutes. That's not enough. That is not enough. You're instructing people to sit on planes for 5 hours. You're instructing people to sit in their office, in their place of work for hours, riding on the subway for hours, wearing masks, totally covered up. Flawed research. Right? 6 minutes walking, that's nothing. Right? Researchers then gave each participant a blood test and discovered there were no differences in levels of oxygen and carbon dioxide. It sounds fishy. I smell fish. This data, I've heard people say, people that have breathing problems, they put that mask on for 30 seconds and they got to rip it off because they can't breathe. Me too, right? And I'm not complaining about my glasses, but I only give this thing like 3 or 4 breaths, right? The surgical mask. And I'm out, man. I couldn't even imagine exercising with this shit on, running around on a track. You see people outside running around on track. Did you measure those people? Why don't you measure? I'll be in the study, a healthy human being, and we'll do one-on-one. I'm dizzy right now from doing that, and we'll run around a track, and I'll run next to a guy with a surgical mask on, and we'll run a mile. We'll go 4 laps. Side by side, we'll do the same thing, and then we'll go right for that blood test. And I guarantee you that guy has higher carbon dioxide in his lungs. I guarantee you his oxygen levels are lower. Guaranteed. All right, so this is bull fucking shit. I'm calling bullshit on this fucking thing. That's all I want to talk about. This shit. Bullshit. Fucking bullshit, man. Face mask likely to cause overexposure to carbon dioxide, CO2, even patients with lung disease. Overexposure. All right. So this is the opposite side. Is that what this is? New research findings contradict statements linking wearing face masks to carbon dioxide. No, this is just doubling down on the last one. Face masks unlikely. Excuse me, I read it wrong. Face masks unlikely to cause overexposure. Bull fucking shit, and fuck you, Fox News, for covering that bullshit. Ensuring uptakes of vaccines against SARS. All right, I'm out of gas, man. I don't want to talk about this shit anymore. The profound reward. We'll end on this. This is good, right? Because I've always thought that being alone is important. Being alone in your mind, with your body and your spirit. Am I getting too folky on this channel? Am I going too deep into the spiritual shit? Because I'll back off, man. I'm just doing you guys a favor. Because I think in troubled times, when the world is falling apart, people will say, well, how do you stay balanced? How do you stay centered? How do you just not give a fuck? You get attacked by every asshole in the world. Every asshole on YouTube attacks you, and you still don't seem to give a fuck. It bounces off you. In fact, you like it. You seem to enjoy the comedy of it, and it's because I'm in the middle. I don't push to the extremes. Right? I try to pass on what I know. You can only keep what you have by giving it away, and that's one of the things I like to give away. So. But here's another thing I'll give away: the profound rewards of staying single. Not necessarily single, but having quiet time to be alone. I'll just do that. Over time, people who stay single may experience more happiness and growth. Now, I'll whatever. I was going to tell you something about my personal life, but I'm not going to tell you that because the other phenomena of YouTube is that when people watch your show, they think they know you. They think they know everything about you, and you don't. You know what I look like. You know what I sound like. You know what I, in a superficial way, you know what I like and dislike. But you don't know me. You don't know me. You don't say you know me if you don't know me. But here's something that's interesting. When I first started researching and writing about single people decades ago, I used to talk about the growing number of people who are single. Now I'm focusing on something even more dramatic, which was once quite rare. The growing number of people who stay single at least until their late 40s, and sometimes for life. The rise of people staying single has not deterred all the singleism, though. Single people are still stereotyped, stigmatized, marginalized, and targeted with discrimination, sometimes their whole lives. Why are you single? You must be gay. You're a homo because you're not married. Where's your woman? People will say that to me all the time. What does that mean for how single life is actually experienced by those who never marry? So here's the stats. And then an analysis of data from the survey of blah, blah, blahs. More than 100 people who had always been single were compared to more than 3,000 people of comparable age who had been continuously married. The people who stayed single compared to those who stayed married reportedly experienced more personal growth. They were more likely to agree with statements such as, quote, "For me, life has been a continuous process of learning, changing, and growth." Quote, "I think it's important to have new experiences that challenge how you think about yourself and the world." As opposed to those, they were more likely to disagree with statements, those healthy people, the single people, were more likely to disagree with, "I gave up trying to make big improvements or changes in my life a long time ago." Right? People who had stayed single reported more autonomy and self-determination. What about the other people? Right? They reported more optimistic, less stress, more highly educated, more likely to say that they could manage easily on their incomes. They were happier. They are happier, less likely to smoke, less likely to not drink. What does it say about? What does that say about humans? Are humans monogamous creatures? Are humans really not meant to be around other humans? One of my favorite stories is the hermit from New Hampshire, the New Hampshire hermit, the guy who lived 28 years outside. And man, that guy was like balanced and happy. And when they finally locked him up because he was stealing food from the Girl Scouts next door, or the Boy Scouts or whatever, he was stealing food. He was out there prowling because that's how he had to survive for all those years. And he was also stealing beer and junk food and pot. And he wound up. He actually developed a little alcoholism. The fact is that this guy was when you listened to what he was saying, he was balanced. He rarely got sick. He said he rarely felt lonely. He never felt alone, and he was alone. He never felt lonely, but he was always alone. And I just think that there's some kind of wisdom into. I'm not saying that everybody should be a monk and should be alone, but people should reserve time for themselves, even if married. And if that marriage or that union with other prevents you from being able to close a door and be alone, or be on a walk alone with your own thoughts to sort things out, then you're in a bad relationship. You're with a bad person. You're with a person that doesn't understand mind and is systematically making you sick. These are the things that we should teach in school, right? We should teach ethics. We should also teach. I say mindfulness. I think that if you taught young children how to meditate, because it's so controversial, you can't have a mantra because then people will say, "Oh, you're indoctrinating my child with a religion." But mindfulness is, although you could say that that's a form of Buddhism, it's actually very mechanical. It's just you have calisthenics and gymnastics, right? You have people that do jumping jacks and push-ups and sit-ups, or yoga. Right? But that's not religious. But what happens when you tell somebody to follow the breath, focus on the eyes half closed, focus on the tip of your nose and know when you're breathing, and do it for an hour and notice how your mind wanders. You're balancing your mind. You're taking your mind and you're balancing it, right? And you still the mind. If you can teach kids how to do that young, it's something that they can carry with them into adulthood. It's probably harder to learn as an adult. And then there's also an argument that it's hard for a child to quiet down a restless mind because their mind really isn't that restless. But if you can show them, I think that would. I think if you look for, ways to change human education and human psyche, I think that would be a great one. A great one to look at, right? And then have everybody doing this. Like, instead of cookie break, you have Hare Krishna break. Right? It's fucking crazy shit, man. Thanks for joining me, man. Thanks everybody for joining me. Mark Conte reporting here in New York City, which could be for the last few times, man. I could be here for the last few times. I'm gonna leave unexpected. I ain't telling anybody where I'm going, man. You'll find out when I get there. So have a happy Saturday, everybody. It's beautiful weather here in New York City, man. It's like 57, 59 degrees, sunny, crisp, 4 mile an hour winds. I might break out my kite today. It's a little weak, but thank you everybody for joining me. Nathan Purvis is here, Champs, Jessley Snipes, Sterling Price, my brother from a different mother, Mike Fletcher. You could be, I'll say also about solitude. You can be. I think of myself as a yogi, and I find that peace in Times Square. I can sit and meditate in Times Square. I can sit and be around craziness and still be stable. That's the practice. It doesn't really affect you. And it could be in a massive crowd and be to myself. Someone speaks, you don't answer. Just to yourself. And you go into yourself. So, thank you, everybody. Have a good weekend. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. And suddenly the world changes. Suddenly the world changes for you.
Hare Krishna.